welcome back to District 23. I am your host, Brother Adam. First, Happy New Year. It's 2025. We're excited to have you guys back with us. We got some new content coming for you, some new shows, and hopefully some good information that you guys find valuable. I wanted to kick off this year having a conversation about something I think should be interesting and hopefully helpful for some people, real estate. So there's a lot of conversation right now about is the American dream dead? Home ownership has become increasingly difficult for a lot of people. And so I brought in a friend. She has some extensive experience in the industry, and she has agreed to come on the show, and I get to interrogate her and pepper her with questions today about her experience and what she sees in the market. So without further ado, let's welcome Ester Paula to District 23. Thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited.
I love to hear it.
Yes, I've been following up and stalking you to have me on the show.
Exactly. I'm glad you did. I appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad you followed up.
Absolutely.
So I like to start off every show the same, just giving our viewers a little bit about your background, where you're from, where you grew up, what is it that you do now?
All right, guys. Well, my name is Ester Paula. I have been in the industry, and I say industry of real estate, in the last 20 years, since 2005. Right now, I'm currently partnershiped with Safeguard Escrow down in Corona. So we are in the Inland Empire, but we do cover all of California, obviously. What makes Safeguard different, I say, is we cover all 50 states. So we are affiliated in all 50 states. So,
Nice.
And that's, I like to think of ourselves as being, a great resource for sellers and, other clients out there who are looking for an escrow company. Call us.
Nice.
But yeah, I fell into real estate in 2005. 2005. Wow. I just graduated high school. I was 17. My cousin was a broker out in Rancho Cucamonga, or still is, I should say, a broker out there, a little mom and pop. And we were out on a family vacation in Lake Powell, and he was looking for an assistant. I just graduated, haven't even started college yet.
Right.
And I was working at Calsa Park, for those of you who know. It's out in Riverside. So I was making like $6 or $5 or whatever it was. And I
he's
was like,
you want to go make some,
I was like,
make
cousin,
some real money.
Cousin, how much is it paying? Because he's asking me for a friend. And I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
What are you offering, you know? And he was like, I'm offering 10, an hour. Hello, 17, 10 an hour? Sign me up.
Exactly.
So, I just started shadowing him and his best friend at the time who worked in title.
Nice.
Or still is working in title, I should say. So shout out to you guys. Not gonna drop names. But so I got my license, my real estate license, and my notary license. So I'm a notary public too at age 18. And I didn't really do anything with any of it. I was just more being an assistant.
Kind of been a sponge.
Had no idea what real estate was. If you would have asked me what is real estate, I wouldn't not even known it was a house, or properties or any, zero clue.
Right.
I just did the test and then learned from there and then just started shadowing.
Gotcha.
So,
when did you figure it out? It's like, okay, now I'm gonna do this long term though.
Well, I did it for a long time. That was the thing. So falling into it was just more like, I'm doing this as a job. Well, I was gonna go to Cal State San Bernardino at the time. I wanted to be a third grade teacher.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, okay, let me, dabble into real estate, learn it. I'm seeing money being made, and let me finish school.
Right.
But at that time, when the market crashed, my cousin got in with the right people, the right accounts, REOs, BPOs, which is being property owned properties, started, literally working with different asset accounts and stuff like that. I started falling a little more interested in real estate. Like, dang, people are making money here.
Yeah, gotta do it. Money will motivate
talks.
you. Exactly. That's cool. So right now, then, what keeps you motivated to get still going? 20 years in the industry,
You know what? It's a love and hate.
Is it?
It's this. I'm self-employed.
Yeah.
It's a love and hate. As we all know, the market's up and down, right? But you got to learn to literally ride the wave. You got to learn to save money. When Uncle Sam comes knocking, you got to be able to pay.
Got to be able to answer that call.
You got to be able to answer.
Yeah.
It's really just studying your market, to be honest.
Okay.
If you're, in my opinion, okay, because everyone has their opinions in real estate for everything, as we all know.
Yeah.
Learn the fundamentals, learn how to grind, learn how to do, the basics, sales, calls.
Yeah.
Get a great mentor, guys. I advise everyone, shadow somebody. Shadow someone who you see being very successful.
Yeah.
You know, don't look at the hype. Don't look at, what are they driving? What are they wearing? No, look at the volume and production they're doing.
Gotcha.
That is really where, you want to be looking.
Yeah.
Because that tells you who's really selling and who's not.
Gotcha.
You know?
So you were fortunate, and then you came in with your family members, but they really actually mentored you and taught you the business.
Yes. And I was with him, my broker, my cousin at the time, for like 2 years. And then at age, or almost like 3 years, I want to say. So around 1920, I ventured off and I went and joined a different team.
Okay.
And at that point, I started learning the operations side of real estate, meaning
Gotcha.
like how to open up offices, how to recruit, hire, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So learned that, and from that brokerage, they opened up their own Remax office, and that was the first office I learned how to open. So I really loved the back end, like the paperwork, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Like paper pushing. I wasn't really looking at sales because I wasn't really selling yet.
Gotcha.
That wasn't a thing of like my goal, let's just say, at that time. Still,
Right,
I still didn't know what I wanted to do.
Right.
And then when the money started rolling in, I kind of took a leave of absence of school,
Yeah. And never went back.
Never tried. I tried a few times. Not gonna lie, I tried,
Listen,
but it's
when
hard.
the money's good,
It
the
is
money's
hard.
good.
But once you're in the hustle and you learn the game,
Yeah.
the hustle's a different, it's a different drive. It's a different feel.
Different drug or different drive? Is it addicting?
Drive. It's very well. It's addictive, right?
okay.
It is, because you see the success, and then when you hit that low, you think you can't get back up, but when you do, it's another hype.
Gotcha.
It's really rediscovering not only yourself, but how to really independently, find your own little niche too in the market.
For sure. Yeah.
So learning the back end of real estate as far as operations, licensing, and all that stuff really taught me a lot. Really taught me negotiation as well.
Gotcha.
Managing,
Nice.
I did a lot of managing, that for sure.
Okay.
I strive on that. I strive on people's success, honestly.
Well, I'd love to hear it. Well, I'm glad you came on. Like I'd mentioned before in the intro, I wanted to talk about the young family that's just having kids, starting out. They're trying to buy their first home. Even the middle-aged person that's been on their job 10, 15 years, and they're like, okay, this year, this is the year I get the house, right? And they turn on social media, they turn on the news, and all they hear is home prices are skyrocketing. It's not affordable. I know our situation is unique because we're here in Southern California, so it's expensive, right? I know you'd mentioned you do all the states, but here's kind of pricey. So I don't know is that the same everywhere? But when you hear that narrative, what are your first thoughts?
I mean, I'm always going to go with, in my gut, and I'm not saying this just to be sales, you can never go wrong, I feel like, in buying real estate,
Gotcha.
know? Again, market's up and down, right? It's not predictable.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of, you can follow the trend, but I can't sit there and say, yeah, next week or next month,
Gotcha.
As far as for the new family, is it affordable? It's been a lot harder to make it affordable, yes, but it's not doable. You can definitely qualify.
It's not impossible.
It is not impossible.
Gotcha.
There you go. I can't even think of the word.
No worries. You good.
It definitely possible. And a lot of times you'd be surprised. I get a lot of young families that, I can't qualify. I'm like, well, have you tried?
Yeah.
Have you asked? Have you even looked and considered even, picking up a phone and calling an agent or lender, And the scary part about it, especially the younger, I would say, family, is we don't educate them. They're not being educated. It's the education part. People lack that. So, they're afraid to ask, don't know where to go.
Oh, gotcha.
Or they're looking for that just money hungry agent that's just going to be like, yeah, let me qualify you, and, give them a crappy, don't even care about their rate or anything like that.
Right.
It's a lack of education, I think, is where people.
Now, when you say education, is that educating the person on what programs are available?
Yes.
Or is it educating the person on how to qualify?
All of that.
These are the things you need to be doing to make sure you're in the best position to actually afford a home.
All of that. It's the pre-qual part of it, right?
Yeah.
So everyone has a different situation. Maybe you're a vet.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to put you with someone who does VA loans.
Gotcha.
A lot of veterans don't know, hey, we help you with down payment assistance. We help you with all of that. There's so many programs for vets. It's insane, you know. Small family, first time homebuyers, FHA. There's so many different programs, you know, 3% down or whatever. You know, you don't have to necessarily. A lot of people are stuck on conventional 20% down, 20% down. I can't afford it.
Gotcha.
You know, that's not always the case. If you have it, great. You know, more power to you.
So then when you hear those kind of narratives out there, you think to yourself, like, there's still opportunity.
But there's
People
opportunity
just have
for
to
everybody.
figure out.
And it's not even have to figure out. It's asking the questions, right? A closed mouth don't get fed. You want to educate them. Hey, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I see, you know, you've only been here at this job for X amount of time. Let me set you up with this lender. Let's see what programs I can get you into.
Yeah.
A lot of cities now are offering a lot of assistance with home buying.
Gotcha.
You know, and that's huge.
Oh, that is.
It's huge. You didn't hear that before.
Right.
You know, so that's a big plus. And it's really going online and doing a resource and finding that lender that's really there to help you genuinely and give you the right program and guide you to the right program.
And not necessarily see as a number.
It's definitely that. And a lot of times I even get clients who they really just can't qualify, but hey, let me set you up with someone to get you those steps to get there. Maybe your credit's not great.
Yeah.
How do we fix your credit to get there?
Gotcha.
What do we need to pay off?
Yeah.
It's just different, you know, way of maneuvering.
In your experience, do you see a difference between the first-time home buyer versus like this seasoned home buyer? Because you see the person that already maybe owns real estate, or you know, so they're buying like their second or third home. Like, are they saying the market is as tough? Are they seeing the same challenges?
I mean, I'm gonna say the first time home buyer is gonna obviously think it's a lot tougher because it's their first experience. They don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Your seasoned home buyer, they already know what to expect. They already kind of know the protocol, if you will. You know how the chain of command kind of works. So they're more ready. They're more of a serious buyer.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Why is that? Why do you say that?
Because either they're looking to either sell their home to buy a new one or an investment home now at this point. If you have multiple, now you're looking at other ways to leverage your money.
Oh, okay.
Versus a first-time home buyer, you're really buying a home for you.
So no, that's interesting. How important is that mindset? I
leveraging?
Yeah. So I struggle
big.
with the people that are saying right now that like maybe home buying isn't the best option anymore. Maybe it makes sense to be a lifetime renter. But I feel like where the benefit comes is when like not owning one home, but when you actually are owning multiple, right? Mm-hmm. So should that be more so the goal now, is like not just get into one home, but get into where like you can have your primary home and then also maybe a couple rental properties?
I mean, everyone has different goals. So it's hard to say, you know, you might have that one family that's just like, my goal isn't to own a bunch of homes and I don't want to manage that. I get that.
Yeah.
You know, as far as renting home, I think of it this way. You're giving someone else your money. You're paying, let's just say $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
Well, that 36, you're giving it away when you could have saved for 12 months. That could have been your down payment easily.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, think of it that way. And then, you know, with the rates and everything, when you're renting every year, it goes up.
It does. Versus been like in a situation where you have a fixed mortgage for 30 years.
Fixed mortgage, and you know, and we're hoping it drops a little more, right?
Yeah.
So you can always refinance.
Gotcha.
You know, and the great thing with California, especially right now, is, you know, you have that equity.
Yeah.
So leverage it.
Gotcha. Okay. So the seasoned investors, the industry as a whole, when you see like the down years, and you were talking about all the things that real estate agents or individuals can do to like keep themselves going. What did you see like was a challenge for you guys in the industry this year? Because on the consumer side, I see the high mortgage rates, I see the high interest rates. You know, if people aren't buying and selling, aren't refinancing, then the industry slowed down for you guys. Like, what did you see people doing to just stay afloat, or like how do you pivot? Like, what's the next move for you guys?
Well, in general, you're right. You know, the market has shifted. Obviously, we're not seeing that 2% rate, which, you know, hold your breath, is not going to happen.
Exactly.
So, I mean, hopefully in the 5s, right? Because right now we're high 6, 7, which is honestly a normal market. It's hard to think about, but you guys, back in 2005, those normal rates were like 10%.
Really?
It was crazy.
But the home prices were a lot lower.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
But I mean, what goes up must go down too, right?
Okay.
So even now, when I hear people say the rates are so high, it's really not that insane to think about it. Your average, you know, I'm sidetracking right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So for those that are in the industry now, I go back to the fundamentals. Back then we didn't have social media. Now we have social media. You have
Yeah.
so many different ways of connecting with people out there, of utilizing different types of skills.
Yeah.
Cold calling, that never goes away. That's a free way to market. Open house is a free way to market. Door knocking is a free way to market. Yeah, it's a lot of legwork, but find that niche that works for you. Everyone works differently.
Yeah, your industry seems like only the strong survive.
And honestly, yes, I just heard something, not reading, I heard on a different podcast, because I like to listen to different podcasts. Someone had mentioned, and he's one of like the economists, the average agent only sold one home last year. That's insane to me. Insane.
That's
and
nuts.
You see more than, I think it was like 38 or 48% of people dropped out.
Do you think your industry is saturated though?
Yeah, everyone their mom's licensed,
Oh,
definitely.
gotcha. Yeah.
Everyone's an agent. You talk to somebody, but it's not everyone sells.
Gotcha.
And you'll I think, not even the trained eye, but you can tell who's really knows their market and who doesn't.
Right. Especially for someone like yourself that has experience, it's a conversation. You could tell.
It's definitely a conversation.
And you could tell right away if someone's like about their business or good in this industry.
Yeah, and also just the way they maneuver you into finding that right, program for you.
Yeah.
You'll know if someone's just like, yeah, let me just get you in home, and you're not even getting pre-qualified first.
You mentioned technology. How much has that changed for you? Like when you think about your first 3 years in this industry versus like your most recent 3 years, and how technology's changed everything for you guys. Like, is the home buying process the same to you, or has it changed like drastically?
Everything has changed drastically.
Oh, it has.
I remember when I started at 18. Back then, I was literally going to the office. Well, back then it wasn't like the technology we have now with finding homes. It was literally like a book, right?
Oh, really?
Like we have the Thomas guy.
Yeah.
That was my experience. For those of you guys don't know, it's a book, and you got to look at the index and find, and not all the streets were there. So.
Right.
So that was my first experience, was like the Thomas guide, going to an office and, hey, what listings do you have? When I would submit offers, it was either fax or I would drop it to the agent's office.
In person.
Gotcha. Contracts have definitely changed. Lawsuits. Right now, the biggest thing, as everyone knows, concessions. We can't even call it commissions, right? It's concessions. So just the payout everything has changed. Technology has definitely taken a great role too, because again, you can definitely contact a lot more people, right?
Gotcha.
And reach a lot more audience with social media.
How does that help the borrower technology? Because I know they're able to just like log in, look for homes. Does a borrower still need access to like the MLS, or is it like?
So they don't have access to the MLS.
Right.
So
but
it's a multiple listing service, guys.
Now Redfin and Zillow and like Realtor.com, or is that comparable to MLS or not the same?
No.
Okay.
So it's cool. Search, look up your home, send it to your agent, and they can look it up. A lot of times what you have to keep in mind, Zillow, Redfin, all those internet stuff, it's just everything is put out there that's already been sold or current on the market. It's the comparables as far as value of your home, it's off. So you can't use that.
Is it accurate for inventory though? Like if I'm it's not.
No, because it's kind of mixed into one, unless Zillow, and again, I don't know, don't quote me.
Yeah.
Unless they've changed their algorithm and where you can literally lock it down. I don't know. I don't play too much on the Zillow part of it or Redfin. But as far as when I want to give you a actual, comparable value to your home, don't go off of that, because they're going off active, expired, canceled properties. It's the numbers are going to be shot up and down.
Right.
You're not going to get the accuracy of your home value versus if an agent has access to the multiple listing service where they can see, hey, in a mile radius, this property closed within the last 60 days or whatever. So they'll give you more of an accurate reading with the square footage, with the beds and bath. So that's what we're looking at. And honestly, even appraisers, right? They're looking at homes that sold. That's where you get your values, the properties that have sold in the last 60, 90 days.
So in a situation where like a new family comes to you, or a first time home buyer, and they're like, hey, we want to start looking, because we think we might be qualified to purchase. You don't direct them to these sites then?
Oh, no.
Never.
No.
Oh, gotcha.
So I will put them on, well, thank you for contacting me, Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Right.
Okay. And you kind of go through a little checklist of questions. And like I said, find the right mentor to help you ask those questions.
Right.
Because it's very important to ask questions, what they're looking for, almost. And you want to, the thing with homeowners or home buyers, I'm sorry, is there's a difference where a lot of us live in la la land, right?
Okay.
What we think we qualify for versus what we really qualify for.
Gotcha.
So it's like you have to almost like nicely have
break
like
the bad
separate
news.
it, right?
Break the bad news to
you're
them.
like, so that's where we come in
you
and
can't
like,
buy the $1 million home.
yeah, let me introduce you to my lender.
Yeah.
They're going to help guide you to make sure, hey, you're qualified and this is your buying power. This is what you can buy with, and you're comfortable at this payment.
I would say, let me ask you this then. Say you give them that like reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
You thought you qualified for $5,000-6,000 a month, but you really only qualify for $4,000 a month. If they're not satisfied with that and they're like, well, the home we want, the dream home is this one. What do you then do? Do you?
I mean, there's different options, right? Maybe we look at a different city. Maybe a lot of people sometimes are stuck in a city because they haven't seen outside.
Gotcha.
And that might be more within their bracket of, their buying power.
Gotcha.
Is what I like to say.
Yeah.
Of what they can afford, or hey, if you can wait. I don't like to push. That's not how I work, at least. Like, let's get you in now. If you want to wait, you want to wait. If you want to save up to qualify, okay, great. But let's get you in a program to get there, realistic program. Hey, are you looking to get an increase in payment? How are you going to, supplement that income now?
Yeah.
To make it work. Because if you're still at the same pay, like what's really going to change?
Right, exactly.
So what are we doing different?
Maybe it's not like, I like that. Because then maybe the dream isn't dead, or maybe it's not as hard as people seem, but maybe it's like, hey, I know you kind of had your mind set on being in this one area, but let's go look elsewhere and see like what that could look like for you.
Yeah, you have to paint the picture. Us as agents or anyone that's a professional working with you, our job is to guide you.
Yeah.
This is my opinion.
Yeah.
To guide you, paint you that dream and show you how to get there, realistically that's comfortable and affordable for you.
I've heard agents say you shouldn't expect your first home to be your dream home. Is that true?
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A lot of times, you're going to want to move in 5 years,
Oh, gotcha.
What if you get a job relocation? You're gonna, you know what I mean? It's a lot of scenarios can play.
For sure.
So, don't expect it. Even get a fixer upper. If you want your dream home, kind of get a fixer upper, customize it to you.
I like that.
There's different ways. You just have to paint the picture and be real with whoever it is, that you're servicing.
Gotcha. Okay.
Is what I like to think, at least.
All right,
I want someone to be real with me and not get into a home and all of a sudden I'm screwed.
Well, okay. So then what were some of the trends that you saw this year that kind of led to these conversations about it's just becoming increasingly hard? Like, what were some of the market trends from last year?
I mean, obviously, as we all know, the rates are hella different.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you hear that everywhere, the rates to rates.
So for you, like, I know you said back then 10% wasn't high, but did you consider like this, because did we touch 8% this year in 2024?
Yeah. I mean, we've been dropping.
Did you consider that high, 8%?
I mean, it's still high considering what we've been, right?
Yeah.
But it's still not crazy to me, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
I think those who are coming in the industry, brand new, are like, oh my God, it's a little.
But that 3% that existed, that was a lot. That was COVID. That was an anomaly. That may never happen again.
No, I mean,
gotcha.
I'm never gonna say never. I don't know, but I'm not gonna say let's hope and dream that's gonna happen 2025.
Is that an unrealistic expectation then?
I believe so.
No, okay.
I'm going to say my opinion. I believe so. I think a real expectation could be, hey, let's hope and pray it's going to drop to the 5s. Because we see it fluctuating a little bit, but then it goes back up and then it goes back down.
When it hits that 5, do you guys see an increase in business in your industry?
I mean, the business is going to come from the worker and who wants to sell and buy, right?
Okay.
So a lot of people don't sell because they get scared.
Oh, interesting.
People sold, I think, in COVID because oh, shoot, I got to get liquid cash. We don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
It was a freak, right? Everyone freaked out. And right now I think people are starting to come around with the reality of, hey, we're in a normal market, normal trend. Like we're back to the groove. We're back to like buying and selling and upgrading and getting back to our real life, not that COVID scare life.
What about the lack of inventory? Is that a real thing? Or
It is. Inventory has dropped a lot.
It
and,
has.
Elections too played a role in it. A lot of people wanted to wait for after the elections.
So talk about the inventory for a second. Does that mean like you get a new bar, or you get a first time home buyer, they want to buy a home, there's just a limited amount of options for them?
It right now, yes, it's starting to pick up, so it's more competitive, right?
Oh, okay.
So the competition is a lot more. So we're starting to see, or at least I've been starting to see a little more buyer's bid, if you will.
What does that mean?
Meaning because the inventory is so low, a lot more people are bidding on a home.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm gonna
That'll naturally drive up the price then.
exactly.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so I'm starting to see that as coming up a little more than it was,
How much did prices jump up in 24?
Prices did jump up a lot.
It did jump up? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So let me backtrack. In the earlier year, I think it stabilized. Come summer, it started to just kind of stabilize after that. So I haven't seen it really took a jump as far as it did earlier in the year.
So from the consumer side, I see those three things and I'm like a little bit discouraged then, right? It's like, hey, this is hard. Like I was hoping this would be the year to buy a home, but like.
But it is the year to buy a home. I like ADUs, for example. Let's talk about ADUs. That's big trend right now.
What's the ADU for the people that don't know?
So ADUs are basically like additional homes, additional
dwelling units,
correct. So a lot of people used to illegally convert the garage, right? Now you can legally convert your garage into a living space, and it can be used as when you get an appraisal as a value to your property now. Back then, if you converted your garage, the city might come down or got to get rid of that. There's no value, to your property now versus now. You can add that value.
Okay.
You can rent that space. Think of it like an additional unit to your property. Why not? Why not cut that cost in half?
Yeah.
I would.
Okay, so then for you looking forward to the market this year, what are some things that you would like to see that would make it maybe easier for that first time home buyer, or some changes you would maybe want to implement where you're like, okay, now people have more access to like home buying? Is it the drop in price? Is it the drop in rates? It's
not even so much the drop in price and rate, because that's always going to change, right? That's always going to be there.
Okay.
It's always going to be a scarcity for people. Like, do I wait? Do I not?
Gotcha.
It's really when you're ready. And again, me as an agent, I just want to be able to share the knowledge of like, hey, don't be scared to ask, and let's just see what you can get qualified for. It's giving that out there. So I'm gonna be with other people as far as agents. Like right now is a great time to buy. Why not? You're still living the American dream. The American dream has not gone away.
Yeah,
it's just
still home ownership.
How are you gonna ride that wave? The home ownership, I still think it's the best way to go.
I like that. I mean,
in my opinion,
I agree with that too. I think in terms of wealth building, I don't know of too many other things that are going to do that for you other than actually owning property, right? I do think there is a conversation to be had with like the multiple property things. Like, I'm raising a daughter. I think as she gets older, definitely home buying should be a goal, but I am going to teach her that. I think you get that first home and you start working on that second one right away. Because I just think, and I know to your point, like, not everybody wants to be a manager, right, and have tenants. But I think once you learn how to leverage property and you can get some cash flowing assets, like that's a huge thing, right? But just one home on its own, I'm not sure, other than the fixed cost of rent, I'm not sure like if that should be the goal anymore. Just because everything else is going up in price, like inflation and everything else, right?
Right.
Yeah, but.
And you see a lot of people investing into Airbnbs, right?
Right.
But I feel, and just because I'm hearing this even more now, even that you're starting to get a lot more restrictions with states and cities.
For sure.
It's a lot harder. If you're coming in now, I feel like you're a little late in the game versus, not that you're a complete, I'm not saying don't.
For the Airbnb market.
I'm just saying it's what I'm starting to see in here.
Yeah.
It's the trend is more now. Obviously the ADUs, right?
Yeah.
Or even like you said, just different resources of just buying and holding and renting. That's a safe way to go.
Yeah.
For me, I got lucky and got with investing at the time too. So I did a lot of flips too. I was lucky to be a part of and doing a transaction wise
Yeah.
and flips, with investors, different affiliates with We Buy Ugly Houses, which is, a big one. So,
Yeah.
and with other agents, I was lucky to be a part of that in their portfolio and even to do my own, and that was a great way of a different avenue of generating income, wholesaling properties.
Would you recommend a first-time home buyer to do that? Like, not necessarily flip, but like to get a property that needs some rehab? Or is that like,
Again,
is that
it's
more
just
like a
what are you
season?
looking for?
Oh, okay.
I always go to what is it that you're looking for? Am I going to recommend that?
Gotcha.
If that's their goal, if they're just looking to be an investor, then I'm gonna set them up with someone who can help them invest their property,
Yeah.
or their money. I'm sorry, into properties or whichever way. And like you said, leverage, right? Maybe we're gonna flip a home, which is a lot harder now to find. They're still
Oh,
out
gotcha.
there,
Yeah.
but it's a lot more work than it was before, which it was a lot easier. So let's invest in a different way. Maybe it might be Airbnbs. Maybe it might be let's look at units.
Yeah.
Maybe it might be now, hey, let's build ADUs. Maybe it might be just a different avenue. You managing, who knows?
Oh,
Property
gotcha.
management. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just we have to find that right portfolio that's going to fit for that person or
Gotcha.
that investor at that point.
So it's very much circumstantial.
Yeah,
Depends on the individual.
I feel like you can't really just paper cut it black and white.
Right. Okay. No, it makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so the
American dream is still alive.
It's not dead. It's not dead. Okay.
Long story long.
That's good to hear. So then looking forward to 2025 also, do you see like a repeat of this year?
Of last year, you mean?
Or last year, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, I'm very optimistic. I don't know what it is.
Oh,
I
that's
felt
good.
like a vibe and or something happening.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing a lot more, or just this short amount of time in January, like inventory is going up
Nice.
compared to last year. I'm seeing that. Every month I like to see, month to year from last year to this year. So it's people are settling in more. The elections are over, so everyone can breathe a little bit.
Right.
We're all foreseeing. I think a positive more future in our market. I do feel like, again, I'm hoping it drops a little more, but
Nice.
not. Again, we're not looking at 4s and 3s and 2s. If it
Gotcha.
does, call me. But in general, I feel really optimistic about the market being more of a stability.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot more stable.
Okay, so the borrowers that what are maybe some just general advice for them that are like, okay, this is my year to buy a home. They don't have access to the MLS yet.
They're not going to have access to the
They're never
MLS.
going to have access.
No,
so you're saying the best thing for them to do is actually reach out to a professional.
Yeah, I mean,
Gotcha.
still look online. Look online. I'm not the type of person like, don't go online and don't search. It's just, I want to make sure you're just real on, hey, that property may not be available because it's
Gotcha.
already sold,
Yeah.
or whatever the case may be. Just, make sure you have someone who's going to help and guide you in a successful way.
And don't get discouraged.
Don't get discouraged. Don't take it personally. It's be smart about it. Don't be in a rush to buy. Like, really, really check out the property. Really go see it. Really do your home inspection. Don't skip out on any of the inspections. Those are part. Get with an agent who knows their contracts. That is a big thing. Contracts have tremendously changed.
Yeah.
Especially in the state of California, everyone is lawsuit happy, and those contracts have grown and things have changed to the point where, especially with the compensations and stuff, it's be smart. Be with someone who knows what they're talking about. Ask questions. There is no dumb question in real estate.
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly, there is not.
I like that.
I still have questions every day. I'm learning every day.
Yeah.
Just get with someone who's going to be able to answer those questions.
And you mentioned first-time home buyers for the specific cities, also state. Why do they do that?
Look
still?
into your
Or federal
cities.
level?
Yeah, so look into your cities. There's a lot of state programs. There's a lot
Also?
of city programs that I'm starting to see. I know Chase has a few out there that I've heard from. I forget what city, so don't quote me on any of them. Long Beach, I know I've heard some of their cities. So look, because it comes and goes, but they're out there, you guys. Really get online, research your cities, see what programs, call, just be curious. Don't give up
on the dream.
Do not give up on the
dream.
No.
I mean, well, that's encouraging then, because it was really starting to feel like, okay, people are just switching to lifetime renters. This dream's out of reach, and so we move on to the next thing. But that's good to hear from someone that's actually in the industry, knows what's happening, is seeing it from day to day.
Yeah. You got to start from somewhere. So if you can't afford your dream home now, start somewhere. Buy a small home and work your way up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
later on, that equity is going to build, sell the home and move up,
Yeah.
or whatever that situation is for you, or out of state. You just never know.
For the real estate professional too, that are kind of feeling the same woes, because you said there's only on average one home sold.
That's what I kind of saw last year.
what type of advice do you give that person? So, I've seen in the industry that there's a few people, right? There's a person that's kind of legacy. Like they're born into a family and that family's been doing real estate. So they're second or third generation. So they get to just plug into an existing system that has like a book of business, all these people in place. It just helps them thrive in the industry, right? Or somebody, to your point, that is lucks out and gets with a good team. And so they get kind of similar mentorship. What about that new person that's like, I'm trying to do this thing in real estate, but I sold one home. I can't sustain this, right?
Yeah.
I sold one home last year. Like, what advice or what encouragement do you give them? Is it just stick with it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, real estate is not a part-time gig, you guys.
It's not.
I hear a lot of people, I'm going to do it part-time. It is not a part-time gig. You can, not that you cannot do it and it's not possible. It's just the reality is, it's you get what you put in, right?
Okay.
You see a lot of the lazy entitled agents, right? Or at least I have.
Okay.
So they don't want to work,
Okay.
So my advice to those coming in is, again, listen as much as you can. Listen from those that are selling volumes, pay attention. Copycat, you're not, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Like, don't.
Yeah.
It's honestly, in my opinion, is stick to the fundamentals and you will sell. Get on the phones, ask the questions, shadow someone, do what you got to, just be consistent. Time blocking, that is a big thing. Time blocking. I now live off my calendar.
Gotcha.
If you ain't in my calendar, you're non-existent.
Gotcha.
And when I say time blocking, it's because it's important to be organized and as a self-employed person, right? Because we all fall into distractions.
Yeah.
Like very easily.
Have you ever met a person then where you said, this probably isn't for you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you have? Oh, okay.
I haven't thought of that myself at one point. Like, man.
Really?
Yeah.
When did that happen for you then?
For me, I would say probably in my like 26. I was like 26, 27.
And then how'd you get over that? How'd you decide to forge through?
I just love it. It's a love-hate. For me, honestly, it came down to like, I don't want to do a 9 to 5.
Gotcha.
I don't want to do a 9 to 5. How can I avoid a 9 to 5 and still continue to grow and make money? And hey, I want to be able to, work mobile and whatnot. It's living the California dream, right?
Yeah.
I had to hustle. I had to discipline myself. And I still have my moments. We all kind of get sidetracked.
Yeah.
So for me, it was, I just didn't want to work. I did not want to clock in and clock out.
Gotcha.
But now it's a 24-hour job. So I'm never clocked out.
But also at the same time,
boundaries and discipline.
This industry is not for everybody.
It
your
is
industry.
not.
Gotcha.
Honestly, it is not. It's not for, you need thick skin, guys.
Yeah.
Back then, when I started, it was way more male dominated. And I've talked about this in a prior podcast. It was so male dominated where like you have to have thick skin. Like, no one's gonna have petty. No one gives a hoot if you're a female. Like, it was way different, I would say, than now. Now it's a lot more female empowerment, a lot more coming together, a lot more community than it was back then.
Okay.
Everyone was feed for themselves back then. Not, you have those here and there, but it's a lot more community now. It's a lot more different.
Oh,
That's why I say go ask and go be part of a community. Go find, go network. Brand new agents coming in, network. You want to network. It's going to be a huge pivotal part of your business. You want to know who you're working with at the other end and build a relationship.
Nice.
I'm a big believer, don't bite the hand that feeds you. I don't care what or how you got screwed in the past.
Oh, wow.
Do not bite the hand that feeds you.
Yeah.
It's going to come back. You're going to work with them someday or you're going to run into them.
Yeah.
And they're going to end up talking. Like, word gets out. It's a small industry.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So you want to be very...
So you got to keep a clean reputation.
Be clean. Be mindful, Keep the drama out. My opinion, we all see these shows, but that's their life, their show.
Yeah.
Great entertainment. But my opinion is, I ain't perfect. Everyone knows my IG is my IG.
Yeah.
I have my fun. I keep it very real, very black and white.
Yeah.
but I'm also going to be a professional in my profession.
Gotcha.
You know,
All right.
and stick to the consistency. You know, that's my biggest advice is find the mentor, be consistent. Some people work better at nights than in the mornings. It
Yeah.
just whatever works for you, but find that niche for you.
So it's still a thriving industry.
It is still a thriving industry.
There's still,
And you can make infinite money. I mean, real estate has so many different parts, from commercial, from investments
Yeah.
to there's just different levels of making money.
gotcha. That's good to hear.
So yeah.
Well, I feel more encouraged after this. I got one
Let's do
last.
it.
I got one last question for you. 20 years.
Yes.
You've done the administrative side, production side. You're doing all these things. What's been your biggest life lesson or career lesson from all of your experience?
Not listening.
Really?
Not listening. One, to my gut, and sometimes we become rebel. We're like, I can do a little different. It's
Oh, gotcha.
That's been my downfall, I would say, is not listening or not being consistent.
Okay.
For myself personally. But I love the industry. I love people. I just love people. I love networking. I love connecting.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I'm really a big believer in your success is my success.
Gotcha.
It's cliche, but it's true, guys.
So that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
that makes me happy. It's crazy when I started at 17 working with agents or new agents who are now these big time brokers and have all these multiple offices, and we still connect like family. It's just an amazing feeling for me. I'm such a supporter and such a hype girl. That motivates me.
Gotcha.
I want to get to that level, and and I am, and I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, I'm getting there. It took me a long time because we all drift away,
Yeah.
but I'm focused and I'm ready to kick ass this year.
Nice. Well, I hope you have a successful 25.
I will.
Where can the people reach out to you if they have questions?
So you can reach me on my Instagram it's Ester Paula, literally Esther without a H, ESTERPAULA. You can also find the company for Safeguard Escrow. You can reach me either or. That's
Nice.
where I'm at all times. DM me. Do not give me foul messages. I will block you. But yeah, contact me. Let's connect. Let's work together. Or if anything, just be a resource to you.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, you guys heard her. Listen, the dream is not dead. It's just finding the right real estate individual, being able to get the right information, and hopefully the opportunities is there for you this year. So if your goal in 25 or even the following year is to, get into that home for the first time, you should still be pursuing those things, is what I'm hearing.
Don't give up on the American dream, guys.
Nice.
It's there.
All right. Well, listen, thanks for coming in again. We appreciate you having
Thanks for
we appreciate
having
having you here at
me.
District 23. As always, I'd like to remind everybody this space is available for you guys to come in and record. This is a podcast place where everyone's welcome. All you have to do is come in, sit down, record. We take care of everything else for you. So we appreciate you guys tuning in again. This has been another episode of District 23, and we are out of here. Thank you.
Bye.